Yo, Trade 223 back with another video. Going to be talking about Bradley Beal traded to the Phoenix Suns. Now, first, I'm gonna give you the trade. First, I'm gonna give you the trade. The trade was the Bradley Beal to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, handful of second round picks, and multiple pick swaps. Now, I want to say, let me see. Because they did, I think they added, I want to say, Isaiah Todd, and there was another person that the whatchamacallit, that the Wizards also included in this trade. Now I want to go to Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal trade rumors. There we go. Now I want to see if I can find who or what the other trades were, because I think I saw a trade. I want to go over all the trades so I can I wanted to go over the trades so I can see which one I thought would have been the best. Obviously, the Washington Wizards thought that one was the best. Do I think it was the best? Not necessarily. DeAndre Ayton was also supposed to be involved in the trade, but the Phoenix Suns said no. So that's very interesting that the Washington Wizards still accepted. They were supposed to trade with the Miami Heat, but they didn't want to give up Tyler Hero, so that was a no, which is kind of questionable because you're not going to have Chris Paul. Landry Shamet is not a player that you necessarily want when you're trading Bradley Beal. But again, Bradley Beal's contract is so bad that his trade value might not have been there because his contract is so bad. He's making 50 plus M's for like 2-3 years. And he's an all-star, but he's not a superstar. He's not a Hall of Famer. He might make the Hall of Fame, not first ballot, but he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not like the Kevin Durant's, the Devin Bookers, the Steph Currys, the LeBrons, the Giannis's, the Lucas, the Jokic. He's not on that level, and he's got the biggest contract in the league. Biggest contract in NBA history. Now, what do I think about this Phoenix Suns team? So they traded Chris Paul. They traded their point guard. They traded Landry Shamet. Now, Chris Paul was probably the reason they made the playoffs the past 3 years. They made it to the finals. They also made it to the second round the past 2 years and got destroyed by whatever team they faced, by Dallas and Denver. I don't think this is a bad trade. I don't think it's going to be the team we think. Oh, you got Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, and then you got a decent bench if everyone resigns. Y'all are gonna be straight. Y'all are gonna be good. I don't say this is an overwhelming favorite. DeAndre Ayton is very underwhelming. They don't have a point guard. They don't have a legit point guard. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, one of them might play point guard. Devin Booker can play make. Bradley Beal can play make, but they're not the floor generals. Obviously, Kevin Durant don't need the ball in his hands. Obviously, you want Kevin Durant to have the ball in his hands because he's probably one of the greatest scorers, if not the greatest scorer of all time, because he can do it from everywhere. But he doesn't need the ball. Devin Booker doesn't need the ball. None of those three guys need the ball. Honestly, I know this would sound like a very small team because you'd have Bradley Beal at the 2, Booker at the 3, Katie at the 4, Ayton at the 5. Go pick up a John Wall. Pick up a Kemba. Pick up some. I know that if you pick up Kemba Walker, I'd have him come off the bench. Just go and get a bunch of vet minimum players that just want to play. Kemba Walker could be a good 15 to 20 minutes off the bench. Go pick up a Dwight Howard. We've seen that Dwight Howard has been able to guard Jokic. And he'll probably most likely be able to defend an Anthony Davis when you have Dwight Howard in the lineup and Anthony Davis. You have DeAndre Ayton and Dwight Howard. That's a decent backcourt. DeAndre Ayton is very underwhelming, but when you have Beal, you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, he just needs to grab rebounds and play defense. I know he doesn't necessarily want to do that because he wanted to be a power forward, he wants to have the ball in his hands. But at this point, he might as well just be, or Or he's got a big enough contract, I think. Trade him to the Hawks for Clint Capella, John Collins. That fixes that problem. Clint Capella's a rebounding lob threat and defensive anchor. John Collins can shoot the three ball, even though I think he does want a bigger role. But if he goes to Phoenix and he's playing with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, he can be a pretty decent role player, a role-playing power forward. Or you can even have him coming off the bench if you want to start. If you go and get a John Wall to start, get a Kemba Walker off the bench. Just get someone that wants to play. Get an Isaiah Thomas for off the bench. Give him 15, 20 minutes. Give him a minimum, like literally the minimum you can give him. It don't matter. Relink John Wall, Bradley Beal with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker right there, and then DeAndre Ayton. That's a solid 5. Even though, like I said, that lineup is kind of small because you have 6'4" John Wall, 6'4" Bradley Beal, 6'6" Devin Booker, however tall Kevin Durant is, and like 7 foot, 7'1" DeAndre Ayton. The backcourt or the front court is not that bad, but the backcourt is kind of small, or the wing is kind of small because Devin Booker's only 6'6", and he's gonna be going up against 6'8", 6'9" guys. But again, John Wall can play defense. Booker's shown he can play some defense. Bradley Beal hasn't shown that, but if he's in a winning situation like the Phoenix Suns, he can probably do it. He can probably play some defense. And he doesn't have to average 30 points for them to have a chance. The year he averaged 32 points or whatever, they had no chance unless he scored. Obviously, he had the playoff moments where he scored all the points and they lost. But that's because none of the other players showed up. If the other players showed up while he gave you a 40, 45 piece, then maybe they do something. But when Bradley Beal's scoring, it's very fun to see when Bradley Beal's scoring. I love watching Bradley Beal just get straight buckets. But then there's another thing. I would have liked to see Bradley Beal in Miami. I know the trade package was luring. It was rumoring it was going to be like Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and first-round picks. Obviously, that's not that. Even though his contract is big, that's not good value for Bradley Beal. Kyle Lowry's on his last legs. Duncan Robinson showed up in the playoffs, but he hasn't shown up in the regular season. And in the first-round picks, you never know. The Miami Heat are always a solid team. They were the 8th seed this year, but they were battling so many injuries that it was kind of hard for them to stay afloat, and they made it to the finals as an 8th seed. So they're always going to be in the playoffs, whether they're the 8th seed or the 1 seed. They're going to be in the mix. They're going to be in the mix. So it would be tough. I would have liked to see it, though. It would have been fun. I want to say there was another team that was rumoring for Bradley Beal. I'm also going to talk about Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat. Still a possibility. Do you have to give up Tyler Hero? You absolutely got to give up Tyler Hero to get Damian Lillard. I don't care what else you get rid of. Trailblazers, you want a Tyler Hero, and then you want picks. I don't think his contract can match up. Throw Duncan Robinson. Throw Kyle Lowry in. You can make that. You can finesse, and you can get some guys in free agency that want to play. Miami, go and grab a Lance Stevenson. That's a guy y'all would want on your team. Go grab a Lance Stevenson. Grab an Andre Drummond off the bench. Like, just you like what they need at this point. Like, if you get Dame, probably be Dame. It'll be Max Strus, Jimmy, either Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, whoever they want to run at the 4. Bam Adebayo. That bench is nothing. The bench is what? Maybe Kyle Lowry if they don't involve him, or Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent if he re-signs. Victor Oladipo probably won't be back. What happened to Oladipo is sad, but they don't have a bench. They don't have a bench. Whoever starts between Kevin Love and Caleb Martin, one of those guys is coming off the bench. If one of them resigns, because I think they were both on 1-year deals. So I mean, there's a bunch of situations where the Miami Heat can be good if they trade for Damian Lillard, but then again, they're giving up depth because they need to make the contract match and they need to give up assets. Giving up Tyler Hero, giving up Duncan Robinson, it don't seem like the correct package for Damian Lillard. But what else have you seen that you can get that's not more valuable than a 6th man of the year, borderline all-star, and a 3-point sniper, and a bunch of picks? Obviously, you would want Jaylen Brown. I don't think the Celtics said they're not interested. Obviously, you would want just trying to think. I'm trying to think of a player that they would want, but I think they would just want a really good young guy that can develop in Portland with Anthony Simons, with Shaden Sharp, I would say, with Nas Little, with a bunch of those younger guys. I think they would want them to develop because even with just them, they draft Scoot. Scoot's 6'2", 6'3". He's built for 6'2", 6'3". You got Scoot, Anthony Simons. If Jeremy Grant resigns, you got Jeremy Grant. You got Shaden Sharp. You got Nas Little. You got Cam Reddish. You got Drew Eubanks. You got a solid team there. And then whatever you get for Dame instantly goes there because you got to get some quality. You got to get some quality. Unless Dame just stays, they trade the third pick for Zion Williamson, and then boom, you got Dame, you got Anthony, you got Jeremy Grant, you got Zion, and you got Yusuf Nurkic. And when you have Damian Lillard on your team, it don't matter the other spacing for the other guys because he's just going to attract so much attention because he can shoot from half court just like Steph Curry. It won't I don't think the spacing would necessarily matter, but then again, it will matter at some degree because Jeremy Grant can shoot, Anthony Simons can shoot. His problem with Zion and Yusuf Nurkic. So that's going to be the end of this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Peace.